Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. As you may have guessed it from the title of this video, I traded in my Breakout and I bought a Harley Davidson Breakout. For everyone who already subscribed to my channel and have seen my last video, you already know the reasons why I've decided to trade in my Breakout, but quickly rewind to the new visitors who are seeing this video for the first time and visiting my channel for the first time. Basically, to make a long story short, the bike is beautiful. It's a great bike. It's a sexy looking bike. Unfortunately, it just was not the right bike for me. It was not very comfortable for me for an extended period of time to ride it, and a few other things. So if you do want to see more details exactly why I was not very happy with the bike and why I decided to trade it in, I'll leave a link up above so you can go back and take a look at it in more details. So I was going back and forth between several bikes that I wanted to get, and I narrowed it down basically to the two: a Heritage Classic and a Road King. Again, to those who follow my channel already know that I've owned a Heritage Classic before. I've done a bunch of work to it. It was a great bike. It was an impulse sell and an impulse buy after the fact. I've also owned a Road Glide before, so I'm not new to a touring frame as well. So it's kind of, like I said, I was going back and forth. There was a reason why I also sold my touring bike before. Some sizing reasons and some other things. Again, like I said, Heritage was a great bike as well, so that's why I was kind of going back and forth between the Heritage and the Road King. So to everyone who already know the difference between the Softail frame and the touring frame, there are some differences. Obviously, the weight is one of them, but there's other things like obviously the comfort level you get on the longer distance trips and longer rides on the touring frame versus the Softail frame. Obviously different shocks, different, a bunch of other things, the hard bags, and so on and so forth. So, but in reality, the difference between the Heritage and the Road King is not that huge. Again, like I said, I've owned a touring frame before, like a Road Glide, as I said, and a Heritage Classic, so I know exactly how each one of those handle and the pros and cons for each. But after thinking long and hard and again doing more rides on each bike, I have decided to pick up a Road King. Now, without wasting too much time, let's take a look at the bike that I got, and I'll talk a little bit more about the reasons why. Alright guys, so here it is, Road Glide Special. Alright, so let's go through a few reasons why I chose Road Glide Special over Heritage. Alright, so looking purely at the specs of two bikes, the Road King Special and Heritage Classic, the difference between the weight of two bikes is only about 80 pounds. So in the bikes this size, you're really not going to notice 80 pounds. It's obviously distributed. It's further down to the ground. So that was not really an issue or really a deciding factor for me. Now, to some of you who may or may not be familiar with both frames, if you look at the specs, you'll actually notice that the touring frame, you have more lean angle than you do in a Softail frame. So Heritage Classic is right around, I believe, 26 degrees or so of lean, and the Road King is between 31 to 32, depending on the left versus right side leaning. So yeah, it's actually a lot more lean on a heavier touring bike than it is on a smaller softail bike, interestingly enough. And you do notice it when you ride both bikes. When it comes to seating position, which is obviously one of the major concerns for me from my Breakout, both of them are very, very comfortable. Yeah, you sit upright, they both have floorboards. So again, there's more similarities between the two bikes than there are differences. So really it comes down to really a preference of the looks and maybe the weight differences for some people. You know, the seat height is almost identical on both bikes. The touring frame is slightly wider, not a whole lot. But again, the difference is maybe an inch or so when it comes to actual, you know, planting my feet on the ground between the two bikes. Now, you may or may not have noticed, I actually put a new seat already on the bike. Again, for everyone who's been following my channel, you may remember this is actually the seat that I had on my Road Glide. This is a Corbin custom-made seat. It's a Solo, and this was specifically designed, and like I said, it's a custom-made seat for the Road Glide. So I thought it was going to be a direct bolt-in to a Road King. However, I was wrong, because if you know the difference between the two bikes, particularly in the tank area, the Road Glide Special, they have a much thinner centerpiece on the tank versus the Road King. So I did have to make a couple of small modifications to the seat, but it is now shaped properly to fit the tank, and it's sitting on the bike, and the seating position is super comfortable, exactly as it was on my Road Glide Special. So before doing any suspension modifications to the Road King, and before I did any modifications to my Heritage Classic, both of them, also post the seat install on the Heritage bike as well, I was about half an inch to an inch off of my heels from the ground from planting my feet. And that's exactly where I am right now, about half an inch from the heels touching the ground on this Road Glide, Road King Special. Now, I obviously did modifications to the suspension on my Heritage Classic, which allowed me to plant my feet fully. And I did something very similar to my Road Glide Special by installing the suspension from Öhlins. And I haven't done any suspension work on this thing obviously yet. This is a new bike, so let's see what happens. But for now, I'm actually fairly content the way this bike is balanced. I have absolutely no problem keeping this bike upright on my balls of my feet, so I'm very comfortable at a standstill. Again, because of the custom seat that brings my legs together a little closer, and you know, with my riding boots, I'm very, very well planted on the ground as a standstill, no worries whatsoever. Now, I've only taken the bike out a couple of times, so so far I have nothing but pleasant things to say about this bike. It handles beautifully. It is very, very soft ride. It is very nimble ride. Again, this is an 800-pound bike, but it handles so much better than than the Breakout did, for obvious reasons. Again, we're talking about, you know, 24.5 degree lean angle versus a 32 degree lean angle on this bike, right? Again, the seating position is a lot more comfortable. It is a bigger and softer bike. Again, it's a touring bike, obviously. The other one is not. But, you know, to compare it more closely to a Heritage Classic, they both handle beautifully. This one's a little bit softer. It's a little bit more comfortable. You know, I can ride this bike for hours and don't get any strain in my back and in my arms. It's just a great positioning. You know, obviously the foot position with the floorboards is very, very comfortable. So far, I don't really have anything negative to say. Now, again, this has only been a couple days since I've owned this bike, so let's wait and see. I do have a lot of plans for this bike. I do have a bunch of parts still already waiting, and some are on the way to get installed on the bike, so definitely do stay tuned to those videos as well. So yeah, guys, I really don't want to make this video super long. I just wanted to do a quick reveal and talk about some of the reasons why I bought this bike. And like I said, stay tuned for more install videos on different parts that I'm going to be putting on a bike and the journey of another modification to another new project of mine. So as always, if this video was useful to some of you, don't forget to give a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys soon. Take care.